Hello. Good morning, everybody. It's your friend Fat E, coming at you with just some more random stuff for you today. Man, do I love living in Florida. What a time we live in. That is an understatement for sure. So, actually, a little bit of good news out of the state for once. We get some good news sometimes, but anyways, Florida decided, I'm sure everybody's seen it already, that we are allowed to open carry firearms now. A long time coming. We've had constitutional carry here in Florida since, I believe, July of 2023. Should probably do some research before I start making a video, but you know what? We're going to roll with it. I'll look it up and I will put something in here if I am wrong. If you don't see anything, I was right. So, anyways, constitutional carry started, again, I believe July of 2023 is when we started that here in Florida. It allowed anybody, basically anybody who would be eligible for a concealed weapons permit, CCW permit, uh, to go ahead and carry a firearm concealed without needing to actually go get that permit. So obviously, you got to be 21, no criminal history, no federal offenses, anything like that. You have to legally be able to have that firearm. Otherwise, it's still illegal, obviously. Uh, the constitutional carry, though, what surprised a lot of people about that is that it only included concealed firearms. It did not include open carry, which is very interesting. If you ask anybody who's extremely pro 2A, they'll tell you that that really doesn't make any sense. I mean, logically, it just doesn't make any sense if you're saying that constitutionally you're allowed to carry your weapon, but you're not allowed to be seen with your weapon. Neither here nor there. We have it now. It was going to go into effect, I believe, the 25th or the 24th of this month, September 2025. They have come out and said, most county sheriffs have come out and said in Florida that they will not enforce any kind of, they're not going to arrest you if you're open carrying before that date, which is very interesting. It's very cool to see, everybody kind of coming together and agreeing on something for once. So there's definitely a lot to talk about with open carry. This is not the video for that. We'll go over a couple pros and cons, but I just wanted to basically come out here and say it's an exciting thing to happen in Florida, especially for the people that live here and the people who do carry firearms here. I've always been a wholehearted proponent of the Second Amendment. I do believe that armed society, I know English, an armed society is a polite society. Uh, I really don't see any problem with self defense, and I think that, personal opinion, everybody should have a firearm. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your side of whatever you're thinking. I logically can't make sense of not having a firearm, especially if everybody around me, I can assume, has one as well. I want one. So, anyways, I have a video, had a video. Yeah, we'll get into that. So, just for reference, again, I do always have a firearm on my person, personal preference. I live in a state where this is allowable. God bless Florida. I personally, I don't think I would ever open carry unless I was out hunting, doing something, sporting, something like that. There's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons to each. Obviously, again, this isn't really the video for that. It's more of an informational thing. But just real quick, you know, for me, I'd rather not show off to everybody what I have on me. It's nobody else's business. It's for my personal defense, my self defense, and that's it. I'm not trying to go out and show everybody, hey, man, I've got a firearm. I don't want people to be polite to me because they think I'm going to harm them. And I don't want to be polite to people because I think they're going to harm me. And that goes right back to what I said earlier with armed society is a polite society. I do believe that, but I don't think it needs to be the prerequisite, the requirement for politeness. I think everybody should be a decent human being. Personal opinion again, but that's what this channel's all about. My opinion. So the pros, obviously, it's extremely accessible. It's right there on your hip, but then that leads right there to the cons. It's extremely accessible. Somebody can grab it right off your hip, especially. There's just so many different things that can go wrong with it. Again, I am wholeheartedly a proponent for it. I don't think that I personally would ever open carry. I definitely prefer to keep my firearm concealed. I don't need people to be, A, knowing that I have it, B, freaking out because they can see it openly. And that is another huge issue is that people see a gun and they just instantly freak out. I don't understand it. It is what it is. I'll never understand that, but to each their own. different strokes for different folks. Uh, I feel like open carrying a firearm, you know, especially a pistol on your hip and stuff like that, it leads to a lot of it can be intimidating for people. And I do understand that, and I don't ever want to be somebody that comes across as purposely trying to intimidate somebody. And I guess that's one of the main reasons that I don't care for it. You know what I mean? Uh, However, if you want to flaunt it, if you want to tell the world that that is, you know, on your person, I'm all for it. The more info I have, the better. You know, CYOA. So the main thing with the carrying in Florida, obviously, is you got to be smart about it. There's still restrictions. There's still laws. You can't go into federal buildings, schools, obviously, uh, private businesses. If they ask you not to have a firearm or they ask you to leave because of your firearm, you have to listen to them. You cannot just be, oh, you know, well, my Second Amendment right or Florida law says this. No. Private establishments, private businesses, private homes, things like that, they can say, you know, what they want in that building. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you refuse to leave, not only can they trespass you, but then it becomes a like criminal trespassing or a felony trespassing because you're trespassing with a firearm, which again might be legal anywhere else in Florida. But when you have it in a private business or a private home and you are told that you are not allowed to have that there by the property owner and you refuse to leave, you're committing a crime. You're committing a felony, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, again, it's neither here nor there. We'll kind of, I guess, learn as the days go on. But I did have just a quick little video from one of my favorite people here in Florida. This is Sheriff Grady Judd. He is the sheriff for Polk County. I don't live in Polk County, but you know, God bless this man. He's a real American hero, if you ask me. Mike Chitwood, the Volusia County sheriff, same boat. Absolutely adore that man. So we'll see what we got going on here.
Be able to freely open carry their weapons. Florida's open carry ban is now deemed unconstitutional due to a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling. But as News Channel 8's Mackenzie Laporte explains, there may be some restrictions you still need to know about.
Well, the state is now one step closer to allowing gun owners to openly carry.
I feel like a lot of this is common sense, though. I feel like what they're going to say are the same things that I've already said. You know, schools, obviously, you can't bring a firearm to a school. Back to the private businesses, federal buildings, I'm almost 100% positive you can't bring a firearm into a federal building as a private citizen. Yeah, we'll just see what they have to say. I'll shut my mouth.
Local sheriffs highlight key constraints citizens need to know before this change goes into effect. A Florida appeals court declared a state law banning the open carrying of firearms unconstitutional, saying the law conflicts with the Second Amendment right to bear arms. And while Florida officials continue to celebrate this move as a win, local sheriffs say, as of now, the open carry of guns is still unlawful.
We love our Second Amendment, but it does come with some restrictions of when and where and how.
Some of these restrictions include prohibiting carrying in government buildings like courthouses, schools, polling places, and some private businesses and residences.
If you go to a
So so federal buildings,
private business or to someone's residence and you're asked not to carry the firearm, you have to leave with it. If you stay there, then you're committing armed trespass, which is a felony.
Along with Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, people. This is common sense. You know what I mean? If I can come up with that just sitting here riffing off the top of the head, I don't write any of this down. I don't have a script. You know, I've got a little piece of paper here with bullet points on it. And I'm just trying to think, you know, what are the logical things that you can't do with your firearm? It's just common sense, man.
Speaking out on the matter today, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office shared a statement saying the decision is not yet in effect until September 25th and is currently working with Florida's Attorney General to determine the ruling scope before publishing guidance to the public.
And I stand with the governor on this. Our 2A rights have to be codified. We're going to continue to fight for those, and we should be an open carry state.
The governor and his team continue to demand Florida lawmakers to take up this issue next session, but state Democrats fear the outcome this could bring to our streets.
So at one point, are we going to actually take a hard look at ourselves and say,
how much you think those nails cost? Damn, girl. They don't look bad, but they're a little gaudy.
You know what? We've got to stop the madness.
I do like her glasses, though, for what it's worth.
Committee weeks start next month.
I want to say, if you don't agree with the laws here, there's 49 other states. They all have their own thing going on. You know, the majority voted for this. The majority want this. So I'll kind of leave that at that.
Which means lawmakers have already started to file new bills. And it is highly likely we will see new legislation around open carry next session. Here outside of the State House, Mackenzie Laporte, 8 on your side.
Girl, I'm telling you guys right now, the year of our Lord, 2025, the year of fuck around and find out, man.